Before the oceans learned to be gentle, they produced something impossible. A world where whales didn't sing to the depths or filter tiny creatures from cold water. A world where they killed. Where they hunted their own kind with teeth longer than your forearm and jaws built to shatter bone. This wasn't the beginning of whale evolution. It was something darker. A final experiment before the planet decided such monsters were too dangerous to keep. Only then do we give it a name: Livyatan melvillei. November 2008, Peruvian desert. The Pisco Formation stretches across southern Peru like an open grave. Sand and stone, heat and silence. For paleontologists, it's one of the richest fossil sites on Earth. For millions of years, this desert was an ocean. The seafloor became stone. The stone became cliffs. And in those cliffs, the bodies of ancient giants wait. November 2008, final day of the expedition. Most of the team had already packed their tools, ready to leave empty-handed. Then, Klaas Post, a researcher from the Natural History Museum in Rotterdam, saw something. Not much, just a curve of bone protruding from the sediment. He brushed away the dust. What emerged was a skull, 3 meters long, massive. But it wasn't the size that made him freeze. It was the teeth, 40-centimeter fangs, thick, conical, enamel-coated. Teeth in both the upper and lower jaws, interlocking like a trap designed by something that understood violence. This wasn't a gentle filter feeder. This was a predator, one of the largest the oceans had ever produced. They would name it after the biblical sea monster, Livyatan and Herman Melville, who wrote of a white whale that destroyed ships and men. But the scientific name had to be adjusted. Another animal already claimed Livyatan as a name, so they used the original Hebrew spelling Livyatan. The species name honored the author, melvillei. Livyatan melvillei, a creature that shouldn't have been possible. What should be possible for you, on the other hand, is to like this video and subscribe. Thank you. To understand Livyatan, you have to understand when it lived. Not the world we know today, with its cold currents and icy poles. The world of 10 million years ago, the Miocene epoch. This was a greenhouse planet. Global temperatures were warmer by several degrees. The Arctic had no ice cap yet. Ocean currents flowed in patterns we'd barely recognize, and the seas were rich beyond measure. The Pisco Basin, where Livyatan's bones were found, was an upwelling zone. Cold, nutrient-rich water surged up from the depths, feeding an explosion of life at the surface. Schools of fish stretched for miles. Seabirds darkened the sky, and in those warm, productive waters, whales flourished. Not just 1 or 2 species, dozens. Small-toothed dolphins, beaked whales, early baleen whales, medium-sized filtering plankton, and small fish near the surface. This was a buffet, and Livyatan was invited, but it wasn't alone at the top. Sharing these same waters was another nightmare, Carcharical's megalodon, the largest shark to ever exist, up to 18 meters long with teeth like guillotine blades. Both animals hunted the same prey. Both occupied the same space. The ocean had produced 2 apex predators simultaneously. History would decide which one survived longer. Built to kill. Whale's Livyatan melvillei stretched between 13.5 and 17.5 meters in length, roughly the size of a modern male sperm whale. But there the resemblance ended. Today's sperm whales dive deep, hunting squid in darkness with suction feeding. They have small teeth only in the lower jaw, mostly functionless. Livyatan had teeth in both jaws, massive, functional, deadly. The largest biting teeth of any animal ever discovered, measuring up to 36 centimeters long and 12 centimeters wide. Each tooth the size of a 2-liter bottle. The skull itself was over 3 meters long. The jaws were reinforced, built to generate devastating bite force. But Livyatan's bite wasn't designed for crushing. It was designed for tearing, holding, inflicting catastrophic wounds on animals that could fight back. The teeth interlocked. Opposing teeth showed distinctive wear patterns where they ground against each other during the bite. Once Livyatan closed its jaws around prey, escape was nearly impossible. The teeth created a cage, and unlike modern sperm whales, Livyatan's teeth were coated in thick enamel, built to last through years of violence. On top of its skull sat a deep basin, the supracranial basin which housed the spermaceti organ. In modern sperm whales, this organ is used for echolocation and possibly as a battering ram. Livyatan likely possessed the same capabilities. It could see with sound in murky water. It could communicate across vast distances, and if necessary, it could ram prey or rivals with its reinforced head. This wasn't just a hunter, it was an intelligent, social, adaptable killer. What did it hunt? Fossil. Evidence from the Pisco Formation paints a vivid picture. Among the most common animals preserved in these deposits were small to medium-sized baleen whales, cetotherioids measuring between 5 and 8 meters long, abundant, slow, rich in blubber. Perfect prey. Paleontologists believe Livyatan specialized in hunting these whales, targeting them near the surface where they fed. The hunting strategy likely resembled that of modern killer whales, pursuit predation. Chase the whale, exhaust it, then attack. But Livyatan didn't hunt in pods like killer whales do. Its size meant it didn't need to. A single Livyatan could bring down prey half its size without assistance. The teeth would puncture flesh. The jaws would tear away massive chunks. Death would come from blood loss, shock, or drowning as the prey was held underwater. Fast, brutal, efficient. Livyatan also fed on seals, dolphins, sharks, and possibly even juvenile megalodon. Anything that moved in the water was potential food. The fossil record shows Livyatan as a hypercarnivore, an animal whose diet was more than 70% meat. It occupied the same ecological niche as modern orcas, but on a scale no living predator can match. Megalodon and Livyatan, two apex predators, same time, same place. Both targeted marine mammals. Both required enormous amounts of food. When the climate shifted and prey became scarce, the ocean couldn't support two giants. One had to go. Livyatan went extinct around 5 million years ago during the early Pliocene. Megalodon survived another 1.4 million years, before vanishing around 3.6 million years ago. In the end, the shark outlasted the whale. But not by much. The world changed. Livyatan couldn't. The late Miocene brought a cooling event. Global temperatures dropped. Ocean currents shifted. The warm, productive upwelling zones that sustained the Pisco ecosystem began to falter. As the planet cooled, baleen whales evolved. They grew larger, much larger. The small cetotherioids Livyatan hunted were replaced by giants, rorquals that would eventually become blue whales and fin whales. These new whales were too big for Livyatan to kill alone. And there was another problem: competition. Killer whales, the ancestors of modern orcas, were evolving and diversifying. Smaller than Livyatan, but faster, more adaptable and capable of hunting in coordinated packs. They could take down the same prey Livyatan targeted, but with greater efficiency. Livyatan was a specialist. Evolution had built it to kill medium-sized whales in warm, productive seas. When those seas cooled and those whales disappeared, Livyatan had nowhere to go. Its teeth, its size, its hunting strategy, all became liabilities. It couldn't pivot to squid like modern sperm whales would eventually do. It couldn't shrink to save energy. It couldn't adapt fast enough. The fossil record confirms it. Livyatans' remains abruptly cease in geological layers dating to around 5 million years ago. No trace of the species exists in younger sediments. It simply vanished. Not from a meteor strike, not from disease, from a slow, grinding pressure of environmental change that left no survivors. Modern sperm whales are deep divers. They descend into crushing darkness, hunting squid in silence. They don't kill other whales. They're intelligent, social, and relatively peaceful. When scientists looked at Livyatan's skull, they saw something else: violence, power. A version of nature that doesn't fit our comfortable narratives about the ocean. In the halls of the Natural History Museum in Lima, Peru, the holotype skull of Livyatan melvillei sits on display. Visitors stand beneath it, necks craned, trying to comprehend the scale. 3 meters of bone, 40-centimeter teeth, a mouth that could swallow you whole. The answer is simple. It existed because the world allowed it, and when the world changed, it disappeared. Livyatan melvillei, the whale that hunted whales, gone now. Extinct for 5 million years. But the bones remain, and we, standing in museums and deserts, are left to imagine what it must have been like when giants hunted giants, when the ocean was not a sanctuary, but an arena. When whales were not symbols of peace, but engines of death. Somewhere deep in the sediment, more bones are waiting. The ocean keeps its secrets, but slowly, reluctantly, it gives them up.